Very good evening, Faten. Very good evening to all the audience. My name is Arun Thukral. I am right now live with Faten on this special episode that we are going to talk about human side of leadership. So I welcome all the audience wherever you are on this part of this globe, India, Dubai, Middle East, or anywhere else. You're all welcome for this. And Faten, thank you very much for accepting this program invite and speaking on this special topic and for being here on this evening from your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me. It's my honor to be here.
Excellent. So, Faten, as you are aware, and you must have seen that we are inviting some thought leaders who are coming in this forum, sharing their thoughts about leadership, what's happening in the world right now, what are the challenges. So, today, our objective is because I'm very happy to hear that you want to talk about the human side of leadership. But before we really get into the topic, I want people to know who you are because at least in India, I'm sure people would be excited to know about you, who you are, what you do, where are you from, your
Yeah.
personal, professional, everything, whatever you want to share with the audience, over to you.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm based now in Dubai. I'm Faten El Ayache, and I'm based in Dubai. I am Lebanese, so Dubai is my second home right now. And I'm an executive coach. I'm a coach trainer. I'm a mentor. And I'm a positive psychology practitioner, NLP practitioner. So lots and lots of titles. What I really care for, Arun, is my mission. I believe I'm on a mission to create positive workplaces through coaching conversations. The human side of leadership really speaks so wholeheartedly to me because there's always this human, and humility is a very big thing for me. Empowering people and helping people and leaders to own their future through impactful coaching conversations is something that I do day in and day out. And I started recently from my belief that the world needs more coaches because we are making the world a better place, one coaching conversation at a time. I started as well training managers and leaders to become coaches themselves through a program that's accredited from ICF, and it's called the Positive Leadership Coach. So that's what I do on a professional level. On a personal level, I'm a mom for two gorgeous and healthy kids. They are 13 and 12, a girl and a boy, Yasmina and Jabran. And I live a happy and fulfilled life. Yeah.
Excellent, Faten. Thank you so very much for taking us through your journey, your passions. I can really see that. I keep observing you on LinkedIn when you speak about leadership, the challenges and stuff. And as you said about positive leadership. So before we really get into the topic, I also want to know, I have curiosity when we were initially talking about what do you want to speak upon. You chose to say that, okay, I want to talk about the human side of leadership. So
Yeah.
why this topic? There are so many things about leadership. People talk about vision, they talk about strategy, they talk about bigger goals, taking teams together. So
Yeah.
tell something why you chose to speak on this.
Because at the core of the strategy and the processes and the programs and the operations and the logistics and everything that a leader looks after, there comes the core. The core is the human. The core
Mhm.
is the people in the organization, and the core is the human always. So the human side of leadership is one of the topics that I said yes, I'm excited to talk about because, as humans. We always gravitate towards that person who pulls us up, who has that positive energy, who really believes in us. And I'm sure, like I am where I am right now, and I'm sure you are where you are because of that one person who believed in you and pulled you and took you to where we are. So I'm talking about myself. I believe that positive leadership is a reality. It's practical. It's not like living in la la land. No, we have always had that person, and that's why I strongly advocate for that. And I believe empathy is a very crucial thing, especially in our days right now. You know, it's what makes us human. Building loyalty and trust is something that we really need to look at as well. So yeah, that's why I thought let's talk about this, because you talk about strategies and all of that processes so many times, but you know, we rarely look at and zoom in into that.
Okay, got it. So what I get a sense is you're saying that ultimately, whatever designation you hold, whether you are sitting on the top of the pyramid or wherever, ultimately you are dealing with humans, and without that,
Absolutely.
it doesn't work if you are not connected as a human first. Excellent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So tell me, I'm sure as you know that as every day and every year is passing by, a lot of changes are happening and a lot of uncertainty is growing in our working world, in our lives. And so is the case with leaders who are driving business, who are driving organizations, who are driving even nations. And there are always challenges that are emerging in every phase of every leader's life and a career. In your experience, since you're exposed to many top leaders that you interact with, in your opinion or in your experience, what are some of the most common problems that are emerging or have emerged in the last few years that leaders are facing today? Let's talk something on that.
On the top of my head, Arun, is definitely the mental health crisis that we've been seeing since 2020, and that's 4 years
Mhm.
ago. And it really emerged, and every leader had to really zoom in and look at mental health and how they can take care of their employees. Other challenges that we all know about is basically what I see from the CEOs or the chief executives that I coach are, for example, managing different stakeholders, making sure performance is up there, and productivity and the dollars
Yeah.
are being achieved at the end of the day. So, but the main focus nowadays, I believe, is the mental health crisis, and I think it's a crisis because um, many people, because of the fear that they lived through during COVID, it affected our brain pathways and neural pathways, and living in fear always, it's as if you're just sitting like that, protecting and in protective mode. So when you're doing this, you cannot function properly, you cannot achieve results, you cannot achieve sales, you cannot think, as I said, in a clear way. So that's definitely a big factor that is impacting organizations.
Okay, so I think you touched on again a very important point, that is the mental health
Health.
or the mental
Mm,
fitness. So
yeah.
tell me, like, is it that the leaders are taking too much of pressure on them to overachieve or overcommit and then they are under delivering? Or is it that is impacting people around them? That because I want to overachieve something or overcommit something, is it that is now taking a toll on their people around them? Is it that you are saying also?
So the leaders are definitely themselves feeling the pressure, and if this is the case, then everyone else will feel that energy around, right? So it's having that a climate in the organization where everyone is tense, and if the top of the pyramid, as you mentioned earlier, is tense, then they most of the times everyone else feels it, if this is the case. So um, building positive climates, is one of the aspects that we talk about in positive leadership, and having that, compassion and forgiveness and gratitude are things that really make a difference. And uh, yeah,
Okay.
like gratitude, by gratitude meaning saying thank you for someone who did something in their stressful jobs makes a big difference,
Yeah.
as simple as a thank you.
Yeah.
So that would create positive climates versus tense climates, negative climates, charged climates, politics, you know?
Yeah, I am getting that. So
Yeah.
I'm also getting a sense that let's rewind a bit and see that a leader who is growing nicely, and as it grows, as you said, these mental health challenges, pressure, politics, toxic environments, a lot of things starts to happen around that person as they keep growing, growing and growing. So when do you think that these kind of mental pressure or areas where their health gets impacted on the mental side as they move and as they grow as a leader? What are the areas that you feel that happens?
What are the areas that I feel this happens in terms of like,
Challenges that emerge.
so when there's absence of trust,
Mhm.
if I understood your question correctly, Arun, if
Yeah.
when there's no trust in an organization, that's when I believe things get tense because everyone is not trusting everyone,
Right.
and people will start working in silos. And that's another challenge. You know, you asked me about challenges. That's another challenge that leaders face when we have lack of trust and people working in silos because of the absence of trust. And we if we look at the human side, you know, that's the trust we're talking about.
Okay. Tell me.
That it's a main factor to look at.
So that's how people, once they trust, they start connecting and start opening up, and that's where.
Because we as humans, Arun, are hardwired for connection. Like we can never live alone,
Hmm.
right? We are always in this together. We are always in one boat in an organization. So if there's no trust,
Yeah,
that's a real issue there, because maybe the leader would want to sail this way and some other leader, or you know, or
yeah,
force would want to sail the other way because they're not trusting each other. And it goes back to not talking to each other. So
yeah,
communication and listening, and these are the things we really touch upon in coaching: listening skills, asking questions, making sure we're not making assumptions,
yeah,
make a big difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks putting some light on this area, particularly the trust factor. I think this is the most important factor for any
It's
relations
it's
to
the foundation.
build a
It's
foundation.
the foundation. Without trust, there is no business. We cannot do business, me and you, if we don't trust each other,
Yeah,
right? And same in any organization. So it's the foundation, and it's one, like the five dysfunctions of the team. The base is the absence of trust.
So
Yeah,
I think you touched on it. So let's, because I know this is watched by many people who are aspiring leaders, and some of them are undergoing coaching with you as well, or through my connection. Tell me, like, what comes to your mind when it comes to building trust? What are the things that as a leader one can do to build trust? As you said, it's a human side, which is very
yeah,
important. But anything
yeah.
more that you want to talk on this?
That's a beautiful thing. You know, one important factor in building trust and is transparency.
Mhm.
Being really transparent on what's going on, and hence the communication has to be open and clear and direct. You know,
Mhm.
there are no going around the bushes. It's direct communication, transparent communication. Other than that, in my opinion, is having an understanding about the shared definition, like defining the shared success for that team or for that organization as a whole. Because my definition of success, we could be working together in one team, and I would be defining success in a way, and you would be defining success in a totally different way. We both are achievers and we
Yeah,
both achieve, but we were not working as a team. We're not working towards sailing in the way the leader, the CEO wants us to sail, because his vision is this way, but maybe your vision is in line and my definition of success is something else.
yeah,
So what will build trust is to make sure we both understand and define what success means for each one of us in order for us to succeed as a team. Once we have that understanding and we say the truth and we are transparent, then I believe that's how we start building the trust, you know. So transparency is key, and shared success, defining shared success. Because at the end of the day, we are one team, and we have to work towards the same goal.
Right. So
Yeah,
transparency, communication, shared success, visioning together is where
absolutely,
trust building
absolutely.
activities. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. And defining what success means to each and everyone on the team so that everyone has this collective understanding of, okay, this is what's required from me. I cannot succeed on my own and fly solo,
Mm.
because flying solo wouldn't take you long, you know, wouldn't take you far. There's a saying in Arabic that one hand cannot clap. You need two hands, right, to clap.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much for bringing these important thoughts. They are so relevant in today's scenario. As I said, these are some of the challenges, emerging challenges the leaders are facing. Now let's shift the gear and move a little more detailed about something related to your coaching practice, because as you have mentioned that you talk to and coach and work very closely with some top CEOs in the
Yeah.
region. So can you tell me something about what kind of challenges that you see with the CEOs and on what areas that you coach around them, just to put some light
Yeah.
on?
So it differs from one organization to other and one CEO to other, but common, you know, topics that come up
Mm-hmm.
are on building, for example, a culture of feedback. And how can I give feedback, and what ways, you know, we can really embrace this new culture of feedback? Because I don't know about you, Arun, but to me, feedback is really, really important. And I learned this belief of excellence in NLP. And I said, I wish I learned it growing up, that says there's no failure, only feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no such a thing as failure, really. If we really, as a humankind, we believed failure, we will be crawling until now, because from our ancestors, if the first one stood up and fell down and he thought that's it, then we would, like, our brain wouldn't have evolved and we wouldn't have this prefrontal cortex right now.
Yeah.
So feedback is something that really comes up, and how to embrace this culture, because I believe, and from what I'm seeing with my clients, is that feedback has been negatively connotated to criticism. And if I want to be that positive leader, or I want to be a good leader, I shouldn't be criticizing, or I shouldn't be giving feedback. But that's definitely not the case. That's actually counterproductive and counterintuitive, because as Ken Blanchard says, what is it? Feedback is the breakfast for the champions.
Yeah.
They need feedback, or else how would they know how to do things better, differently and better? So that's one of the things that comes up. Sometimes, you know, believe it or not, and I'm a firm believer that the higher we are on the career ladder, the lonelier it gets.
Yes. Yes.
And these CEOs bring topics that you, if I tell you now, you would think like, oh, wow, is this real? And the thing is, yes, because they have no people to talk to, and they have this coach, so the trust definitely works like in favor. Things like lack of self-confidence, there's fear. I have some leaders who, for example, before the board meetings, they cannot sleep for a week, you know, because of the anxiety that comes up with that. So lack of trust, um, my coaching philosophy as well, Arun, I have to say, is that I look at the person as a whole. I look at their personal and professional lives. So when I touch upon the personal lives, if they bring that on, then you would see, marital problems. You would see lots and lots of issues. Again, a leader is a human at the end of the day. He's one of us, and we are, so it's not like leaders are, they don't have problems. No, they have problems like everyone else. And the main challenges are under the microscope even more because everyone is expecting something from them. So the burnout is high, the insecurities are high, and I coach them around these things. How to be better listeners as well. We do exercises on that. It's really interesting to see that. We are all humans. We are all equal.
Yeah, correct. I
Like,
think you touched on a very, very important area because I remember when I became a people manager, and,
yes,
and you know what happened in my earlier days. I had a feeling that now I'm a people manager. That means I should be having all answers to every question. That's a,
yes.
and now when I look back and I say how, bad it was, what you're saying is, when you go to other leadership position and when they take it on themselves, the
Yeah.
burnout goes very high. You're right.
100%. I had a lady actually this week I was coaching, and that was exactly, and she had a very strong belief about that because she's in that very senior position, and she's handling like $500 million of budget, that she cannot, especially for those millennials, that she cannot make mistakes. And
Correct.
she has that belief that she has to know all the answers, like exactly what you're saying. And we had to work on that belief and where that's coming from, because like, have you seen anyone in this world who doesn't fall down or doesn't make mistakes?
Yeah.
There isn't that person. So why, when it comes to become a leader, that this is the expectation, a people's manager should be the best? No, a people's manager is a human.
True, true, very true.
Yeah.
Okay, now one more area on your coaching side I want to talk because when you coach leaders,
Can I just one point on that,
yeah,
to expand on this? That's the beauty of, for example, Brené Brown's work when she talks about leading from the heart versus the armored leadership.
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's when I said, you can't make a mistake as a people's manager. That's why I thought about this thing, and I want to bring it up, because leading from the heart versus armored leadership, like if a leader is wearing an armor, just like those gladiators who
Warriors,
wear
yeah.
those, the warriors, this means that from inside they are afraid. There's something they want to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Versus leading from the heart, and like and opening up and being okay with vulnerability, because making mistakes is a very
Mhm.
vulnerable thing,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's okay. You
yeah,
can
yeah,
make mistakes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a message for all the emerging
yeah,
leaders and managers. Actually, you learn best from mistakes.
yeah,
So make mistakes, and lead from that place with vulnerability, because that's what will get you closer to your people, versus when you are wearing that mask, you
yeah,
know
yeah,
and that's something I coach emerging leaders as well on.
yeah. Very well
Yeah.
said. To err is human is we all read and we all find, but when it comes to practice, is something you need a coach to make
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah, you know what? There's something that I fully believe in, is that you cannot challenge your own thinking with your own thinking. That's why you need a coach. So yeah. I'm I cannot talk much about coaching, because um, uh, it would look like I'm selling, but I'm a firm believer in that. So yeah.
True, very true.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about positive leadership, as you said,
Mm.
how it is really making a difference. And can you give some real-time one or two examples in your practice that this positive leadership or the human side of leadership has really impacted some of the leaders in one or two examples that you want to share to the audience?
Yeah. Um, Interestingly, like just 2 hours ago, I had a coaching session with one of the leaders I was coaching today, and he brought up the topic about how he is now living authentically and living in alignment with his values, and finding meaning in what he's doing is making him a better leader.
Okay. Okay.
So that was one of the topics that we were working on, for example, his values. And if there were like clashes with values, then we really are not living meaningful or happy or fulfilled lives. So when it comes to positive leadership, one of the aspects or pillars of positive leadership is about positive meaning and finding meaning in what we do. So that was, for example, one of the topics, like real time example where because of those values he found out through coaching and how these are in alignment with what he's doing. And he realized that, you know, maybe the board wouldn't be very happy with that, because he's not exactly doing what they're asking him to do. But he said, because I am living authentically, I will have the courage and I will have the ways, the communication to communicate this message with them so that they can see what I'm seeing right now. So he felt empowered, you know, to do that, because you know, we are always loyal to our values.
Yeah.
And once we are in alignment with our values, great things happen.
Yeah.
So that's one of the examples that was just happening today. Other examples on positive leadership, for example, on we talk about communication, right? And so many times it's there are so many trainings on communications, and I think the real thing when it comes to communication is the listening, the questioning, and the feedback. So it's like there's a sender and a receiver, and there's feedback, there's a loop, you know. So in that, when we talk about feedback and giving clear feedback on how that is and what we expect them to do differently, that is making differences in the organizations that I'm coaching. Because again, I want to reference Brené Brown: clear is kind, unclear is unkind.
Wow.
Right? So
Yeah.
if I want to be kind in my approach, I need to be clear. What am I expecting from my people? Because if my communication was not clear and I said, this is wrong, this is not how it should be done, and I didn't show the people what should be done, what is it my expectations, because I'm thinking that this will take more time from me, well, eventually this is going to take more time and energy and effort and everything if we weren't clear in our communication. So talking about that, again, feedback, I'm referring to this again. What else? Gratitude visits, making sure that you have these gratitude visits on your calendar as a leader. 30 minutes per week is something that, you know, you want to make sure that you can add to your calendar. It's a 30-minute or a 15-minute per week, and just add it on a calendar to make sure you write thank you letter to one of your teammates who did a good job.
Yeah.
Or if not every week, every 2 weeks, but at least bi-weekly, you know, twice per month, to have those positive communications. Because positive leadership, I didn't tell you, Arun, it's something we call heliotropic. And heliotropic is that effect that has that says that every living organism, be it a plant, an animal, or human beings, we always gravitate towards that
Yeah.
light,
Yeah.
towards what pulls
Yeah.
us up. So that's positive leadership. It's the communication that we use. It's the creating positive relationships and not having spaces for lots of gossip or having a meeting after the meeting, you know? So I think there's a meeting after the meeting because the communication is not clear, because there is a hidden agenda and people sense that.
Mhm.
So say things as they are. On the long run, trust me, this is a game changer from what I'm seeing with my clients.
Excellent, excellent for putting so much of, I would say, information with your experience, the real-time situations. I think that's really great that we are all learning on this. One more area that I think almost we are reaching on the time. I know that a lot of things are to talk about this point, but tell
Yeah.
me something. Anyone who is watching you right now, wherever they are emerging leaders, established leaders, top leaders. What is it that you want to give away as one of your key message, if you have to tell them? What it would be?
Uh, Again, on the human side,
Okay.
let go of judgment.
Hmm. But is it easy?
Meaning. It's not easy, but it's doable
Okay.
because we we I want to put it in a politically correct way. That's why, you know, there's one belief of excellence that I see and I fully believe in, is that there's always a mirror between me and the person in front of me.
Mhm.
And the belief of excellence says, whatever you notice about others is true about you.
Okay. Okay.
So once we marinate with that belief, I believe, um, the judgment will go down. So if you really want to be that empathetic leader, let go of judgment. Empathy is you putting yourself in that person's shoes, showing compassion, showing um, people are struggling, Arun. Really, people are struggling. I see that every single day, and uh, there's a lot of misery in this world. So I think as leaders, we really need to take care of our people, because it's what makes us human.
Yes, yes, yes. Very well said. I
Yeah.
think you are also reminding me of one of my coach. He used to say that, when you ask people, because you said that people are suffering, that brought that point in my mind. And he very well said that. He said that when you ask people, how are you doing? On the face of it, they'll say, yeah, everything
I'm
is
okay.
fine.
I'm
I'm,
good.
I'm good.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
very good. But deep
Yeah.
within, they are searching solutions to their problems. And they
Yes.
are just fighting every day in and out, day in and out, and they are just living that life.
Absolutely. And there are some people in the office with us that we don't know, that we know nothing about their inner struggles and that inner dialogue between them, and they have suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the pain. And we see that happening, and we get surprised, like, what? Like, they committed suicide, but that's happening
sorry.
because of the much judgment. People are not being able to open up,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and because of those armors that people put, and with social media and the fakeness that shows that, you need to be perfect and picture perfect and everything perfect. Again, that's a real issue that I don't know. I don't know if we're drifting, but I think we that's human side of leadership. So I don't know if this is what you wanted to talk about, but I think this is the core of humans, right?
So it always happens, when I talk to people who come on this leaders talk, as we get into the topic, we really get deeper and deeper. And, as I
Yeah.
said, it goes into the real core of the subject that we reach.
Yeah.
But let me put it, Faten, thank you so very much. I know people are watching, they are listening. They might have a lot of questions. I don't know if they're putting it on LinkedIn. Maybe you can later visit if they have any
Yeah.
comments, or because I can't see the questions sitting here,
Yeah.
but you are free to respond to them. And also, I want to add that anyone who is watching and who wants to reach Faten, you see on the background, it is www.fatens.com. You can talk to her, reach to her, write to her. She'll be, I'm sure, kind enough to revert back to you. And anything,
Absolutely.
Faten, for you, you want to end this conversation today with any message? Last.
I really want to thank you again, Arun, for having me. Again, leadership is about empowering people. It's not about a title or a position. It's about who you are as a person. And I always say this, who you are is how you coach, or who you are is how you lead. So be that person who lives authentically, who is true to his values, and does meaningful work. You know why you're doing what you're doing. And again, you know, be open, like be vulnerable. That's what gets you closer to your people, and that's what gets us closer to ourselves, you know. So that's how I just want to end it, and I want to thank you again. And yeah,
Thank you.
leadership
Thank you,
is in
Faten.
every one of us, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Faten, and for sharing your thoughts on this topic. And I want to wish audience a great weekend. Do watch this detailed video. I'll put it on YouTube as well. And stay here. And another fortnight from here, I'm going to come back with another stalwart like Faten we have today. And stay in touch. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye, Arun.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.